Hey everyone, it's Paul Bertorelli reporting for AVweb, and we are back at AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, 2021 edition. So, what to expect? Well, we don't really know. We do know that the advanced ticket sales met the 2019 level, so that's a good sign. And took a little tour of the North 40 camping ground here, and as you can see, it's just about full, all the way out to the fence line. And this year, EAA is allowing people 18 and under in for free, so that ought to help things along. This is being recorded on Sunday, and as I drive around the grounds here in my little golf cart, it's pretty crowded, quite a few people. So, every year at Oshkosh, there is something to see, and high on my list this year is the Diamond DA50 RG. It's here for the first time. Now, this airplane's been out there a while. It's been shown in Europe. It's actually been flown by a few publications in Europe. So, as you probably know, this is the first U.S. showing, first appearance at Oshkosh. They flew it across the Atlantic a few weeks ago. And you probably also know it is a single engine diesel. It's a new diesel from Continental, a 6-cylinder diesel, and supposed to have pretty good performance. So we'll be taking a look at that later in the week. Also here is this airplane. It's called the Stratus 17X. This basic model first appeared here at Oshkosh in 2019. This is a new and improved version of it. It is a kit airplane. They're going to do an initial round of kits and then certify it later on. And of course, you'll recognize this one. This is the Cirrus Vision Jet. They've got a new version of it out, a new improved model called the G2 Plus. It's got improved takeoff performance, quite a bit actually, 20%. And it's also got some interior detailing that we'll take a look at. In fact, we already have. It's up on the website now. Larry Anglisano did a nice video on it. You know, it sounded fun. I had a little fun myself throwing some shade on Textron for their virtual display. It was all jumbotrons and pixels, but no people. Well, here at Oshkosh, looks like they've upped their game and they've got a traditional display, and there's signs that there may actually be people here, so you can come and talk to them about buying an airplane. One thing I don't see that I would like to see is their new twin, the Sky Courier. It's just a box for hauling boxes, but it's a pretty cool airplane. It'd be great for skydiving. And I'd sure like to see it. I know they're flying the hell out of it, so they ought to be able to get one here, don't you think? Icon, we haven't seen them in a while. Icon, I'm sure you will recall, had an ambitious business plan to produce these nice little LSA amphibians, but then they ran into market reality and had to retrench, which they have done. So they're here with an announcement, and we'll see what they have to say. Great little airplane, but sure like to see it succeed. You know, every year, hell, every day, there's something new in electric airplanes. Here at Oshkosh, that's no exception, although maybe not quite as much as we might have expected. Buy Aerospace is here, but they don't have their E-Flyer here, which is too bad. I was hoping we'd get to see it fly. I guess I'll have to wait for another time. However, Volocopter is here. This is one of my favorite eVTOLs. Got a multi-rotor system, and the interesting thing is they are going to fly it here at Oshkosh, part of the air show. We'll take a look at that later on. They're still flogging away at the urban air mobility market, if there is a market for that. And right across from the world's busiest control tower are three interesting things all in a row. Black Shape has this little two-place speedster on display. Reminds me a little bit of the Quest AirVenture, if you remember that one. I think it's a pretty good looking little airplane. And right next door to Black Shape is Aska. You might have seen some pictures of this aircraft. They build themselves as a flying car. These rotor masts fold up, and when you land, you can apparently drive it off. Haven't seen it fly, doubt if it will here. Apparently it was in stealth mode when I shot this video on Saturday evening. Hope to see the actual thing a little later on. And then right next door to them is Opener. They have an aircraft called the Black Fly. You might recall we covered them. They introduced it here at Oshkosh in 2019. Also thought to be kind of a flying car, but I think it's just more of an ultralight or an LSA type multi-rotor. And later in the week, we'll take a look at what they have to offer. It's always interesting to see who has the big Taj Mahal displays, and I like to think of it as an aviation version of Neiman Marcus. Well, here's a surprise. Waco, the biplane company, has a really big display with a couple of really pretty YMF biplanes parked out front. Nice blue color. And they're going to have an announcement later in the week. Right across from them is Elite. They make a high-performance single-engine turboprop. They got this fancy runway. I would try to do a short takeoff on it in the golf cart, but the paint was still wet on the plywood. Oh, and hey, what's this? Looks like a sexy new jet. Nope, a blast from the past. It's the V-Jet 2 that Williams used as a test bed for its FJX engine that was going to revolutionize jet power, but somehow didn't quite work out. You can tell it's a Burt Rutan design by the bug-eye windshield. This airplane first appeared at Oshkosh way back in 1997. Avionics, of course, are always a hot topic at AirVenture, and this year Garmin has its own Taj Mahal. When you visit, be sure and check out Steve Thorne's brawny RV-14 out in front. Steve is the flight shops guy. We've already reported on Garmin introducing what they call Smart Glide, which throws some artificial intelligence at the problem of where to land after an engine failure. Looks like they leveraged this from the Autoland product they developed a couple of years ago. But maybe the more significant avionics development is from Avionics. They announced a glass panel upgrade for legacy Cirrus systems called the Vantage. This is a major product, and it's good to see because it's important to have significant competition in the avionics field. It really favors everyone. Well, there's something you don't see every day, unless it's in Boeing Square the last week of July at AirVenture. That is a Airbus A400M. It's a Luftwaffe airplane. It's a modern aircraft, transport aircraft. I've never seen one in the flesh, and you can take a look at it here after you're at the show. Normally, Boeing Square on Sunday, which is today, it's kind of quiet, but there's a lot going on here. The Air Force is well represented. They got a C-17 out in front of me. They got a KC-135 behind the A400, and later in the week they will be here in force with no fewer than 9 special operations aircraft, including the much feared C-145 Combat Coyote. Huh? Never heard of it? Me neither. It's kind of a Polish-made Twin Otter. I think another good jump airplane. Anyway, that will be here. And finally, the mark of the mask. Let's not kid ourselves that there's no COVID risk here. There certainly is. It's going to be very crowded. EAA has precautions, and here's Dick Napinski to explain the details.
Things on the grounds and the parking people will notice this year. If they're driving in, we urge them to get their parking passes in advance online because they're going to save $5 a day, and they also won't have to deal with cash at the gate, and it's cash only, $15 a day at the gate. The parking lots also have moved out to the perimeter around the museum and next to the Camp Scholler entrance, and we have more shuttles running in. The blue lot that people may remember from the past is now a permit lot, as we're trying to get more vehicles off of the site to put them in the parking lots and shuttle people in. So those are the big things to remember. As COVID is concerned, first of all, we've got to give kudos to the local and state and federal health officials that we've been talking to every couple of weeks to make sure where are we at. And so I usually tell people, bring a mask with you. Because even if you're outside most of the time, you might be in an exhibit, in an aircraft cockpit, the exhibitor might ask you to mask up, something like that. We'll have some distancing out there. Actually, we're splitting the air show boxes for some performers. We'll have a north-south and a south box at the same time. In Theater in the Woods, some of the forum pavilions, you'll see fewer chairs, just distancing people out a little bit. More tables around the food areas, especially the main food areas, to help people distance a bit like that. So be safe and sane. If you're vaccinated, masks are completely optional. If you're not vaccinated, use your good common sense. Get out there and distance, wear the mask if necessary. Just consideration for others. We know EA members and visitors here often have great respect for one another, and we fully expect that will happen. Finally, see the latest, EAA.org/COVID is the place to go. It's all laid out right there.
And And by the way, if you see us driving around in the golf cart, you need a ride, flag us down. If we're going the right direction, we'll give you a lift. For AVweb, I'm Paul Bertorelli reporting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the show.